Go ahead and put on your rubber gloves because this stuff gets on your hands. You'll be picking out of it the rest of the evening. And plus the fiberglass hardener does have a really bad odor to it. Anytime you do contact cement, fiberglass resin, or Bondo, or anything like that, make sure you work in a well-ventilated area. Go ahead and open up the pint can. We'll go ahead and pour this in, and this has got marks on the side of it. And what I'll usually do is pick up about 500 milliliters at one time. Whenever we do 500 milliliters, that should be enough to do both sides. We'll go ahead and pour it into 500 milliliters. Get your quart can out and fill it the rest of the way to 500 milliliters. This resin here is very good resin. I always try to use the best stuff I can. When it comes to the fiberglass hardener, I usually take a small screw or something and poke a hole in the top of it because it comes completely sealed. On the hardener, we have a full mark, a 3/4, a half full, and a quarter full. What we want to do is, since we've got 500 milliliters to mix up, is that we'll push enough hardener in it where it down to a quarter, which it says 3/4. We'll push all that hardener inside of this one particular cup. We'll just squeeze it easy until we get actually down to 3/4, and that'll be a perfect match for the 500 milliliters. Now I pulled a razor knife out of the kit and one paint stick. What I usually do is take the paint sticks because I don't need the whole thing, and I'll just cut a section off of it. Usually if you make a good score on it, you can just break it in two and it'll make you a nice little stirring stick where you don't have to use the whole stick, because we'll be using the rest of the stick in other areas. We'll take the small stick and we'll just go ahead and mix it up. The important thing is to make sure that we mix this up totally. Now we do have some time. It's not going to harden on us like the inexpensive stuff. This stuff has got some work time with it. This is enough hardener and fiberglass resin to do both sides. So we want to put about 250 milliliters on one side and then do another 250 milliliters on the other side. We got our fiberglass resin all mixed up. We'll take our plastic off our 2-inch paintbrush and we're ready to start dabbing this on here. The important thing is not to get fiberglass all over the car, all over this area, and we don't need fiberglass resin running way out here in the floor and everything. We don't pour this stuff on, we paint it on. It's very easily done. What we do is we go start in the center and we kind of just get it wet. Now you don't have to worry about soaking it all the way through right now, and we just keep putting it on here. This is the reason why we put tape all over the car, all over the area, because this stuff is bad to drip. This is a lot thinner fiberglass than what you normally get, and it's good for soaking. It'll wet it out really well. How you know that you have it wetted out? Well, once you get it all starting to wet out, you see the tin foil through the fiberglass mat itself. And we'll just wet out the corner here and soak it in and work our way from the corner to our outside pieces. The hard area is going to be up on this side piece here, up on the actual kick panel itself, to get that to lay out. We'll just keep putting resin on it, and it'll run from the top to the bottom. We'll just want to paint it on. We don't want to push it all over the wires up underneath the dash or anything. We just want to get it all the way out to the edges of the fiberglass mat. Now if it drips a little bit, it don't matter, because we've got our car really good taped up. And it won't hurt our vehicle. It'll come off with the tape. You can see I'm just painting it on. We got plenty of work time, approximately about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how cold it is. The colder it is, the longer it takes to kick, or the longer time it takes for it to start curing out. If it's really cold outside, instead of trying to mix your fiberglass up hotter or putting more hardener in it to make it harden quicker, what you can do is take your resin and heat it up to 80 degrees. Keep it inside the house or something to get it warm, instead of setting it out inside the car and leaving it outside the car all the time. If you get the temperature up to 80 degrees, then you can make this stuff harden in 0 temperature weather. this waste, and what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and put the paintbrush right inside the leftover resin. There's just a little bit of resin down in the bottom of the cup. Try not to get this stuff on you. If you do get it on you, what you can do is clean it up. It cleans up pretty easy, even if you get it on the vehicle, except the carpet. You can clean it up with a little bit of acetone. It usually takes it right off the hands. But I got it from this angle because I wanted to show you that this here is a really, really good line. It lays down good and flat. This laid all down good and flat. Sometimes the panels will heat up, depending on the heat outside, and actually curl in. But don't be worried about all that if it's going to curl all the way in, because we're going to go back and fix all that. But this is how the panel should look right before you take it out, and you can notice that it's completely dry and it's good and hard. I did leave my truck overnight. I did leave the doors open overnight and disconnected the negative part of the battery. And that kept the battery from running down overnight. You know, as soon as these things harden up, you can go ahead and start taking them out. Listen up through the tin foil here and get up underneath it. It's a little tough to get out, and we want to pull where we don't have a problem with the breakage. We don't want to break our piece of fiberglass. Some of the tape will come out with it, the floorboards start moving. You just keep working it, and eventually it's going to pop right out. And where it's sticking at is right here in the corner mostly. We'll just keep working it, it'll pop right out. You guys can see that we got a perfect mold of the floorboard. What we'll do is we'll go back over to the bench and clean this up, give us a nice shape to it. Go ahead and start cutting it down where we need it at, because we don't need this much fiberglass all the way around. We make it a little bit larger and then we trim it down. Gives us a real nice shape. Now we have both of the molds sitting here up here on the table, and you can see that the passenger side of them, I've already started taking the foil off the back of it. What we want to do is we don't have to really worry about getting every bit of it off. Whenever we start taking the foil off, we just grab it from the back side here and just pull it off. The main concern that we have is to make sure that we have the foil off from the edges, because we're going to have to wrap some fiberglass around the edges, so we just want to make sure that we get it right around the edges here. What we have to do to get our outline going all the way around it. Now if we put it back inside the vehicle, we should be able to see the line going through this panel right around the edges, and we can go ahead and make another line on top of this with a permanent marker or a pencil or what have you. That way we can get it cut the way we need it to. Now there's two different ways we can cut this. We can go ahead and trim it up if we'd like with this regular pair of scissors. You can go ahead and trim it down. My personal preference though is to cut these things with this fiberglass with 10 snips. 10 snips usually work a little bit better than scissors, but you can use the scissors. 10 snips are going to give you a little bit better guide. You can cut the heavier stuff without too much of a problem. What I've done is I've put the piece of fiberglass back inside the vehicle, and it's pulling away from it just a little bit, but that's not a big concern right there at all. I'll show you the reason why after we start getting into our kitty here. What we want to look at is the line that we've drawn in the first time around, and we can see it as we pulled off the foil. You can see where the line is going all the way around the whole thing. So what we want to do is just copy that line. Now it doesn't have to be exact, but we do want to get it pretty well close to what we've done in the past, the first time around. We'll just go ahead and draw this on down and come on around with it from here, and we'll just follow the line. Pretty easy. 10 snips are very affordable. Any hardware store will have them. That cut's a lot easier and a lot better. Plus you can make a radius cut a lot easier. We get down to this point here, just cut around the edge. Once we get this shape, and then what we can do is take our sandpaper, and the rougher sandpaper, the 50 grit, and just knock it down to a good flat edge on it. You don't have to sand a whole lot just to knock the humps off of it. Go ahead and round these corners. Here's my driver's kick panel, and here is my passenger kick panel. Now if you notice that the driver's kick panel is a little bit larger than the passenger kick panel, and like I said before, I want both of them to be really, really close to the same. That way to make both of the sides of the car look really uniform, make it look really nice. If we put them up side by side each other, we can notice that this is much larger. But it's easy to fix. We just take a permanent marker and just make us a little sketch line outside of it. And then we can go around this way and actually make the depth of it also. It doesn't have to be exact, but it makes it a lot easier if it's pretty close. Now we're ready to go ahead and go back to the car and put these back into the car and use the, go ahead and start marking up where our speaker is going to go. What we've done is we've go ahead and put our fiberglass back inside our kick panel, and we've screwed our speaker to our wooden ring. And what we're going to do is put the speaker here. We need a speaker in it because that way we can get how far the speaker needs to be out, and also we can get the proper alignment on the speaker. That way it gives you plenty of depth after you're done. Gives you plenty of depth to be able to put the speaker in. What we want to do is line it up, is to just line it up and get it facing, like I said before, to the center dome light, or whatever position that you prefer. But the center dome light usually works the best. We'll take our hot glue gun, we'll go ahead and put some hot glue right here, and we'll let it cool down. What we need to do now is to build stilts for our speaker. What we want to do is glue them to the speaker ring and not to the speaker itself. We still leave the speaker in there, but this is very simply done. All we do is take it and we mic it up. See where we want to do it. We'll take our razor knife, put a little score going across it. Once we put a score going across it, then we can take it and cut it, score it, and then snap it in two. That's why we use the little paint sticks. And then we'll take it and we'll just glue it in place wherever we need it at. What we have to do is get it all going all the way around the speaker ring so it makes a good bond to it. This is where you just have to take your time and make it where it's all going to set perfectly. Hot glue takes a little bit longer to set up, but once it's set up and you get enough sticks on there, it'll make a really nice strong mount so we can stretch form off of it. In place, well, we might have to reinforce it up on our bench a little bit later if we need to get a couple more sticks in it. The biggest thing right here is what we want to do is take and lift this thing out very carefully. That way we don't bust our sticks loose. This one is pretty strong, pretty stout. It is also a good possibility that you can bust these little sticks loose from there, and then you have to put it all back